Hello, in this video, the IPP Demonstration Sites project will spotlight the inclusionary practice of social engagement, featuring a case study from Kodiak Cubs Preschool from Leavenworth, Washington, in the Cascade School District. Social engagement is the process of communicating and interacting with peers, either with direct social behavior, such as sharing toys, conversing, and in other activities with reciprocal turn-taking structure. It may also incorporate active involvement in structured play or unstructured game. Inclusive practices in an inclusive setting helps to increase student engagement and build skills for all. Inclusive practices refers to the instructional and behavioral strategies that improve academic and social emotional outcomes for all students with and without disabilities in a general education setting. Repeated exposure and successful social engagement between children over time may result in relationship and friendship development. This is critical for all children, as the ability to successfully interact with others builds significant foundational skills in communication, problem solving, critical thinking, pro-social skills, collaboration, empathy, self-esteem, and conflict resolution. Social engagement at an early age allows children to form healthy relationships with others throughout their lifespan. As discussed in the previous slide, social engagement is best provided in an inclusive classroom. Inclusion goes beyond a particular location. It doesn't just happen in one part of the classroom or one room in the building. Rather, inclusion for children of all abilities involves active engagement among children and adults with and without disabilities in collaborative interactions and joint learning experiences. These defining characteristics can occur and should occur in all learning environments. These are some important things to remember when we're promoting social engagement. Follow the children's lead about what they want to play and where they want to play it. We want to think about their strengths. Are they good at building Legos, running, throwing a ball? And what are their interests? Maybe subway maps, trains, SpongeBob SquarePants. How do we incorporate all of those things in our planning? We also want to think about the materials in particular that we bring to the playground or have in the classroom to support children's social engagement. These may include low activity objects such as board games, cards, and books, or high activity objects including jump ropes, balls, and hula hoops. We want to facilitate developmentally and age-appropriate activities or games to scaffold the children's social engagement with peers. We also want to sustain children's engagement to the activity or game. Participate in the game to model certain behaviors or activities. And if the child uses a reinforcement system, this might be a good time to use it for minutes engaged. We want to support the children's and students' social communicative behavior, including initiations and responses to peers, as well as reciprocal conversation. We can use prompts such as conversation starters or joke books to spur developmentally and age-appropriate conversations. Another way to do this at snack time or at lunchtime would be to use snack talks or visual aids to help support communication between one another. We want to coach children through difficult situations with peers to practice conflict resolution and mediation skills. We want to validate how they're feeling and give them language or alternative choices to help support each child. Modifications that can help support inclusion and promote social engagement include physical modifications that are alterations in the environment, such as the selection of seating options, arrangement of the furniture, material selection, distribution in the environment, classroom-wide visual supports, and lighting. Social modifications are planned interactions among children, such as social scripts to support communication and problem solving, the use of a buddy system, and reinforcement of specific social skills that encourage a sense of belonging and meaningful relationships. Temporal modifications are adjustments that are made of timing of routines and activities. These are made in order to ensure that the daily schedule is balanced in teacher and child-directed experiences, activity level, and group size. We want to alter the length of a routine and use cues such as a minute warning or timers for transitions or environmental changes. Let me introduce you now to our case study of Kodiak Cubs Preschool. Kodiak Cubs Preschool in the Cascade School District spends a lot of time in the classroom and out of the classroom modeling social engagement in multiple ways through embedded learning opportunities and play. Teachers follow the lead of children in and out of the classroom. For instance, during walks outside, preschool and pre-K students direct the group collaboratively and are given an opportunity during their walks to say right, left, or straight. The teachers follow the students' directions and also help to facilitate the conversation when there is no agreement. Materials used in the classroom and on the playground have been chosen intentionally to engage the students and encourage social interactions. During table activities such as Play-Doh, each student is given their own dough to manipulate, but the tools are only in one bin and shared. There are not enough for each tool or for one tool for each student, so the children are encouraged to ask for a turn and socially engage with their peers. Teachers work with students, modeling this and other types of social interaction, such as providing comments on a student's work or identifying when a peer might want to comment. If a student is looking at a peer's work, the teacher might say, "I see you're looking at your friend's dough. What do you think about it?" And encourage that peer to make this comment to their friend to start the conversation. The teacher will then continue to support and facilitate the conversation as needed. Cooperative gameplay is utilized in a meaningful way at Kodiak Cubs to support social engagement. The games provided focus on taking turns, along with sharing tools and equipment. Instead of having one winner, the object of these games is to complete a task together. The game featured in this photo at the bottom is called Stack Up. In the classroom, this game supports social engagement with the activity itself, as well as with others playing. Kodiak Cubs Preschool not only encourages social engagement learning in the classroom, they extend it to home. In a newsletter, they suggest the following. At home, you can encourage cooperation by turning tasks into a game. Cleanup, setting the table for a material, or folding laundry can all become a game of using dice, taking turns, introducing a timer. In this newsletter, they share it on their website, and it's a great way to share what's happening in the classroom, as well as give parent education and support or resources, materials, ideas to support learning at home. Some of the resources in particular offered are Alpha Friends, math activities, inclusive justice resources, kindergarten readiness, social emotional learning tools, educator resources, and Kodiak Cubs learning standards. The intentional materials and embedded learning opportunities discussed previously are important to teaching social engagement and are facilitated through social emotional learning, or SEL, and positive behavior interventions and supports, or PBIS. These concepts are taught at Kodiak Cubs with Super Friends, using a fun chant and gestures, social stories, and visual supports. Once introduced, these concepts are embedded into play, and information is sent home to encourage families to use the same language. Even in the time of a pandemic, the Kodiak Cubs Preschool promotes and encourages social engagement with the use of intentional materials and activities, as well as collaboration with families. Establishing relationships is essential work of the Kodiak Cubs Preschool. Takeaways for today. Well, it's important to understand that social engagement is a process. Fostering positive social relationships between all peers requires preparation in the classroom and out. Teachers may use many strategies to help students achieve a sense of belonging in the class and in the school. The best opportunity for social engagement is to create an inclusive environment. To do this, an educator must intentionally design and adapt the learning environment based on child's diverse and unique assets, strengths, abilities, and needs, which are not always identified by a diagnosis or overtly apparent. Intentional planning is needed and should include following the student's lead, providing support for and in structured and unstructured interactions. As educators, we should model and facilitate positive interactions. All of this should happen as we are building a foundation of social skills by teaching using social emotional learning and positive behavior intervention strategies. With positive social engagement, all students can gain competence with communication, problem solving, critical thinking, pro-social skills, collaboration, empathy, self-esteem, conflict resolution, And sometimes by making even small adjustments to our everyday routines and activities, educators can promote social engagement. Here are resources for additional information and materials about social engagement. If you'd like to learn more about Kodiak Cubs Preschool, you can view their introductory and deep dive webinar on our website, ippdemosites.org, then follow the tabs at the top. Thank you for your interest and for watching this video.